Okay. We good? We can see my screen. Let me refresh it here. We all right? Let me know if you can't see it, if you can't see my mouse moving before we begin. Okay. Hope so. All right, now here we go. So we have some responsive templates. If good way of testing to see if your website looks good on a phone, you can do one of two things. Up on the upper right corner, if you have a PC or if you have a Mac, it's over here. But minimize your screen, right? And it'll shrink down to phone size. So this would be phone size. So this, let's say that this is the start screen. And as you scroll down, you can see what happens to these buttons here. So those are the button images. This is how your phone would navigate on, the website would navigate on a phone. The custom IDX links they pulled out in these menus like this. So this is how a custom IDX link will display. And it has it in the list view here. So these are the current properties. So you want to make sure that it's easy to navigate. I think that's just number one, because you don't have to have a mobile application. A lot of people aren't really downloading mobile apps. They kind of already maximize what they're going to download in terms of a search app, whether it's Zillow, Realtor.com, or Redfin. All of those are like the three main ones that people have downloaded, that people have used. So your website usage is typically going to be URL based, meaning that you can send them a text message to a specific URL on your website. A URL is just a web address right here. So let's go to Santa Cruz, right? Everybody's heard of Santa Cruz. This is a URL, right? This is right here, Santa Cruz real estate. So when I created this page, I created a page for all of the homes in Santa Cruz, California, right? All of the single family homes. Now, what makes these pages extremely useful is that with our new map search, and you can see how it's displaying, you can see how it's very similar to how Realtor.com and Redfin and Zillow are displaying data, where it has the map on the left-hand side. The map is, it's an individual function, and then you have the listings stacked on the right. So this became the norm. This became how people typically search. And what's nice about custom IDX links is that they help address a couple of things. One is the visual branding of where you specialize. So you might have, a couple of cities that like the back of your hand. You've done a lot of transactions there. You've been in your car showing properties in those areas a lot of times. You might have grown up in that area. You might live in that area. Whatever it may be, that you are an expert. You know property values. You know which streets are the best. So you want to showcase that. All right. What I've done on my site is I went a little bit above and beyond. I broke it down by counties and the cities that I would like to represent, right? I don't, Santa Clara County has the east side of San Jose. Maybe I don't want to deal with that so much, right? There's Milpitas. Maybe I don't want to deal with Milpitas. These are just awesome little cities. These are, property values are really high here. In Monterey Bay, there's a few more cities in Monterey Bay, but I don't really want to deal with it. I have Pebble Beach on here, right? Pebble Beach is Gulf Mecca, right? That's just the place to be. And so here is what's happening in Pebble Beach. Now, when I created a custom IDX link, I created it for all properties, everything labeled in Pebble Beach. All right. Now your consumers, any of your website visitors, anybody that you invite to your website, any of your prospects, they can come and they can do a couple of things. One is they can do a proximity search. They can put an address point here, and they want to see what's happening in a 2-3 mile radius, whatever it may be. They can draw a shape, right? So they just want to see what's happening, in this area right here. This is what they want to see. Right? Click on it. Here's the properties. But what's happening is it's updating on the map, right? It's updating on the map. Now, let's go in, make some modifications, right? You want to see what's pending, what's sold, right? So here's what's active, pending, and sold within this shape. A lot of properties here, right? Now we have anything above $1 million, so we want to say a max price of $4 million, right? So anything within this shape, right? And then bedrooms and bathrooms. All right, so what ends up happening is now your customers can click and see what's happening on the map here, right? And they have access to this sold property, right? Over a little over an acre, almost 5,000 square feet, clearly an ocean view. The nice thing about our new MLS search is that we've purchased a separate server to house all of the photos. So when you load up a photo, or you had a photographer take some photos, and those are some high resolution images, when you load them up into the MLS, there's like a compression situation that starts to happen. So everything is shrunk down to minimize space, and so a lot of these website providers, they're shrinking down photos because a large photo takes a long time to load. So we actually have a very expensive server that we purchased just to house the large images. These large images are a little bit more engaging. And I would imagine that this looks a lot better than what the experience at your MLS is actually providing you. So for you to set up your searches for buyers through the MLS is not doing anything good for your business. It's just sending listings to a customer. Well, our system sends listings to a customer. But in addition, when they're looking at those listings, they're looking on your website. And that's why you have a website. That's why your domain name is on your business card. It's in your signature. It's on any marketing that you do. So when you're setting up searches through the MLS, you're missing out on marketing. And everything is a marketing opportunity. Everything is a reason to get somebody onto your website. You should take it. When you send out an email, whether that email has anything to do with a listing alert, whether it's just, hey, how's it going? It's an opportunity to provide them with a link to click on it and come to your website. You need to begin to focus on internalizing your marketing. So during the buying process, you have buyers who are becoming familiar with your website. And what it's going to tell you is that, hey, they're not visiting your website, or they are. There's a reason why somebody's not using your site, right? And so it's kind of like, hey, I can see that they looked at properties for a month, and then the last 3 weeks they haven't looked at a property, but they've received some listings. Then I should probably reach out to this person. Hey, what's going on? I hope everything's going all right. If there's anything changed, let me know. If your price changed, have you considered looking in some other areas? Just let me know, because I definitely take care of it. But if you just let it kind of lapse and just saying, hey, I'm going to set it up through the MLS. There's an intranet page there. That intranet page has nothing to do with your internet presence. It's not searchable. If inventory is really low, and they haven't received an email from the MLS portal, and they don't really have an access point, they're just going to go to Google, right? They're like, what's going on? They're not, people don't assume, they don't go, oh, there must be no inventory. That's not the thought process. The thought process is oh, I haven't, how come I haven't seen any emails? What's going on? So they're just going to go to Google and type in homes for sale in this city. And if you type in homes for sale in any city, or some city real estate, whatever it is, that's how people end up on Zillow. That's how people end up on Realtor.com. So by setting up your searches through the MLS and not reminding them, you have to kind of tell people, if you don't get a listing alert from me, that means that there's nothing on the market that matches your searches right now, right? It has to be a part of it, but you have to burn your domain name into their mind. They need to see, right, Oak Anchor Homes all the time. They need to see that. They need to see your domain name all the time. Because never assume that you told somebody about it one time that they're going to remember it. That's not how the human mind works. It needs to be continuous. It needs to be a constant location that they end up at. All right. Now with the custom IDX links, it just simplifies that user experience. They have a starting point. They can just click on a city, right? So let's show you how to create a custom IDX link, right? These are really easy to create. It's just like setting up an MLS search. It's beyond simple. It's probably the easiest thing to do with our website, I would imagine. So you just go to your MLS searches here and you click on new, right? And what we can do is, let's do Campbell. So we're going to click on Campbell and do active. Instead of doing single family, we're going to do condos and townhomes. Okay. So I'm just going to do a search, open-ended, any bedroom, any bathroom size, any square footage, but it's just a condo or townhome, right, in Campbell. So anything that you add, you can add all these filters. You can do Campbell homes with a pool, homes under $1 million, but however you wanted to do it, right? So anything that you put in, it's gonna eliminate anything else that falls outside of that. But if you just leave it as location and property type, it's going to be everything that's on the MLS, right? And so that allows for people to see on a mass scale. So right now there is 7 listings in Campbell that are a condo or townhome. All right. So now we click on custom. We click on this button right here in the end. It's called IDX link. You can see it. So when you click on IDX link, you can just name it Campbell condos and townhomes. Okay. And you save it. So now that page is created. Your custom IDX link has been saved. With our system, the nice thing is you don't have to create do the permalink. The permalink is the human readable link. So here's the page that we created. So as soon as you create a page, it automatically adds it to the bottom of your site. So it's the most recent page, but you can slide it up and down and you can organize it on your navigation tabs. When you click on edit, right, you have Campbell condos and townhomes. And this is what the normal URL would be, all this nonsense. And so some of you may have these on your site from our previous generation here. But the human readable link or the permalink is just a rebranding of this page. So if you let's say that you wanted to send a link to someone, you didn't have to send them all this. You just send them this. It's going to be this URL right here, right there. It's done. All right. So now it's save. So now we can go into your website editor. All right. Now the website editor is where you would make changes to your website, whether it's to the buttons or to the photo or company logo, changing your about me, your slogan that layers over the banner, stuff like that. But if you have your website designer, that's where all the templates are, right? That's where all the different designs are and the different color schemes. When you click on configure design, what you're doing is you're making a change to the design that you have, to the template. And what we're doing is right now we're going to make a change to the template, and that change is simply just adding something to the pull down menus, right? So we can click on configure design. All right. Now here are the button images, right? So here's I have those 6 images on the home page of my site. These are connected to upcoming open houses. All right. We have the button links, right? So these are those open houses. We have Santa Cruz, Capitola, Aptos. The banner is the images that are scrolling on the home page, right? And then we have the menu, and you saw the menu, right? The menu is the pull down tab. So I showed you Santa Cruz, and then I showed you Pebble Beach, right? So we can go into Santa Clara County, right? And we can find Campbell, right? And so you can click on Campbell, and this is Campbell single family, right? So we can click on edit. So I can call this Campbell single family homes, okay? And save it. And now that we created the condos and townhomes, we can click on add, right? So we're going to go to add, and we're going to scroll down to the very bottom because that's the one that we just created. And we can remove Campbell because it's already in Campbell, right? So we can go and then save it. All right. So now it's Campbell single family. And then if you hover over it, then it's going to shoot out condos and townhomes, right? So now we just save our work. So you always save our work. All right. So let's go to the home page and let's test to see what we did here. All right. So we have Santa Clara. and we have Campbell, and there's condos and townhomes. All right, so here's the 7 properties. All right, and it's done. It's finished. So anytime a property goes on the market that's in Campbell, that's a condo or townhome, it's going to automatically add. When any of these properties go under contract or sell, they're going to be removed. It's only going to show the active stuff, right? So they're really easy to create, really easy resource to add to your site to get people to click around and stay. The longer you can keep somebody on your site, the better, right? So that's why, even though you have, a very small amount of people that can, really afford a $40 million property, right? Doesn't matter, right? You have, right? Doesn't matter. I mean, you have the something to look at. I mean, even if you were to share that onto your Facebook page, right? Like, hey, wouldn't this be amazing? Look at this view right here. Imagine owning 176 acres in Santa Cruz. I mean, this is unreal. This is like completely unreal. This is, and so regardless if somebody's going to buy it, it's always nice to give somebody the ability to look, right, and see these things, because from here they're like, oh yeah, let's see what else is on the market. Let's see what's in our price range, and just making your website an option for them. And that's what it needs. It's like, hey, here's an option. Here's something for you. Right? Here's my website. This is the entire area. Have fun, enjoy. Because I would rather have, there's always in this this concept of, okay, as soon as somebody comes to my website, I want to capture their information. But if, let's say, 1,000 people came to my site and I try to capture everybody as soon as they hit, right? Just say, here's a photo, but you have to register to actually see it. How many people are going to submit their information? And then how many of those people are just going to leave immediately? And if those 1,000 people never return again, would you rather have 1,000 people constantly using your website? I mean, there's no fee, right? There's no fee to have a bunch of people on your site. We're not charging you for all these clicks and everything, so it doesn't matter. And then at some point when somebody wants to see a house, they're going to submit. It's when they're ready, right? But you're saying, here's an option for you. That's my approach. I would rather have everybody using it, and then when they want to see a property, they fill out this information right here, contact agent, fill it out, schedule an appointment, done. They can reach out to me. I get a notification, and now we're starting with a business relationship. So those are the custom IDX links. They're really easy. If you want to do some one-on-one training to maybe build out a couple, get you headed in the right direction, by all means, reach out to customer support. We'll put you into the training calendar. The other thing that I want to kind of talk about today is Seller's Corner and the effects of it. If you're not using it, you need to. So Seller's Corner is my favorite tool. It's our drip CMA functionality. It's everything that we have and regarding maintaining a relationship with a homeowner over the course of time. So if you look at, historically, you had a buyer, you show that, you're sending that buyer a bunch of properties, you go show them some homes. There's a lot of interaction during the buying process. You've built up a pretty good relationship with that individual. And then once they purchase a home, your marketing doesn't kind of sustain on that same path. It's not as frequent. It's pretty remedial. There's the happy holidays, and then there's maybe a market snapshot of what's happening in the county. But that even the market snapshot, as much as they can just see like, oh wow, collectively in the area that I live, our average home price is this, but nobody's ever listed a house based off of the average home price in a county. That doesn't do any good. That's not a comparable. The comparables are what's happening nearby. And so what Seller's Corner does is it sets them up on an active, pending, and sold neighborhood alert with some, different information. Like one is, you can put in 3-bedroom and 2-bath, or homes within a certain square footage, or you can draw a shape around the neighborhood, and you can kind of see what's happening nearby. So I have this gentleman. Man, this Google, this is a nightmare right here. So let's go back. Let's go back to the contact list here. Let's see if we can find another one. So let's go. We can check on Brad's here. All right. So here we have Brad. Right now, home values have gone up a little bit in his neighborhood. So his house, based off of this location right here, right, it's a 471 Edna Court. Right. So what I always like to do is, if you didn't keep proper records, right, 471 Edna Court, right, Marina, it's in Marina. So here you go. Here's the house. So 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,505 square feet. Okay. Now it sold for $375,000 in 2009. He's lived in this house for going on, it's 8.5 years, give or take, getting there. And here's what homes are selling for now. So in 8.5 years, his house has picked up a minimum of $200,000 in value, minimum. Not to mention any of the home improvements that he may have done, right? So here's some local comparables. And now what we're trying to accomplish is, he might be driving home, and see a for sale sign. Will he Google that address if it's on his block? Probably. Or will he go to the open house? Most likely. Nosy neighbor is a phrase. Everybody knows that phrase. Everybody's clients are a nosy neighbor. Your customers aren't exempt from that. So you have to make the decision. Do I want every one of my homeowners, whenever it happens, to go to an open house and talk to another agent who's trying to grow their database? Any agent that's in an open house is trying to grow their business. They're meeting other people. That's the only reason to do that, right? It's like, not everybody's going to buy that house, but if 25 people walk in today, not every one of them has a realtor or has a relationship with their realtor. How many of these people are going to Google the address, end up on Zillow, end up on realtor.com, seeing what's happening around them, submit their information, right? The other day I had a lady call in. It was pretty interesting. And she got email message from one of our customers. So a realtor sent her an email, and then she called in. She kind of like traced all these steps back and called PropertyMinder and said, hey, why am I getting emails from this person? And I go, well, you're in their database. They have you as a contact. They're like, yeah, but I've never spoke to this realtor before. So why are they emailing me? And I said, I don't know. Do you by chance use Zillow or realtor.com to search for homes? She's like, yeah. I'm like, have you ever submitted your information on there? And she said, yeah. I go, okay, well, that agent is probably a subscriber to one of those platforms and got your information, is now reaching out to you because you requested for information. And so it's, even for that, it's just people are now just, they want information, like, safeguarding your email address, setting out, and saying, here's my email. Everybody has more than one email. They're not checking some of them all the time, and they can just unsubscribe easily and they can just control it. So, they're not exempt. They're not like withholding their email address. That people, if they want information, they want, some sort of, feedback on something, whatever it may be, people want answers now. And so you got to look at, like, how many of your homeowners are really using Zillow, and what we're trying to accomplish is keeping them away from it. If we can beat them to the punch, before they get a chance to, go to that open house, they've got something from you about a house really close by. They get the alert, they can see it. Oh, wow, they have really big photos to look inside. Maybe those photos are big enough to keep them from actually going in. Maybe that's like, hey, they got to see inside it. Oh, they got to see what the kitchen looked like. Oh, that's pretty nice. But what you also have now is you can see, like, hey, like for me, if Brad got a neighborhood alert because his property went on the market really close by, and I can see it, that he's received it, and I can see that he looked at it, right? And I can see that there's an open house coming up, then I have everything that I need to reach out to Brad and say, hey man, you get a chance to see that house, a few doors down. Hey, I think there's an open house this weekend. So, if you do go, make sure that one, you take a look at this and this, right? But if the agent at that open house says, hey, do you have a realtor? Do you have somebody who's keeping you informed of what's happening in the neighborhood? As a matter of fact, I do. His name's Tawd Frensley, and he's my guy, right? So I'm trying to protect my investment. Everybody that I have in my database at some point is going to choose a realtor for some action, whether it's buying a home, whether it's selling a home, and making sure that you're always an option and never assuming that because you sold that person a house 10 years ago means that you're going to be a part of their next transaction. NAR says that 89% of your database is most likely going to choose another realtor. That's based off of how people habitually market themselves. It's also included like all the people that are in real estate for 2 years. I'm sure that percentage for you is a lot less, right? But you still have to say, okay, this person is on a path, and it's individual. You can't lump everybody together. And I think, it's for years it's been that way. It's everybody gets lumped into one type of marketing. It's just, I'm going to send you emails. Here's what's happening in the county. Happy holidays. I appreciate referrals. Maybe your brokerage puts together some sort of newsletter. But all of those things don't help make a real estate decision. When somebody decides to sell their home, it's not because you sent them a newsletter. Be like, oh, I had no idea that my house has picked up $400,000, but this newsletter says that's the average in the county. So now I want to sell. Like, that stuff doesn't happen. What happens is they bought their house as an investment. They wanted to make some improvements and offload it. Maybe they've outgrown their house. Maybe they're downsizing. They don't need as much of a big of house. They got a job out of the area. They're underwater, or they hate their neighbors. I mean, there's only so many reasons why. It's not, it's not just be like, you can't convince somebody to sell their home. You can't be like, oh yeah, you should sell your home, right? You can't sell your home, all right? So this is what this does. It just kind of keeps them informed. It's a way for you to say, hey, here's something new. It's just a drip CMA, right? You're setting up all the comparables. You're setting up all the comparable properties for them. And they can choose. They know what that house looks like, right? You may not remember what that house looks like, right? It's like years ago, right? But they do. They know, like, oh, that house is like, typically in a neighborhood, you're not going to have like 800 square foot homes and then like peppered in or like 5,000 square foot properties. That isn't typical. That's not like a normal situation. Like, pretty much, it's like neighborhoods are fairly similar, and so they know that, oh, that I actually do want to see inside that house, right? They might know that neighbor. They want to go take a look. That's fine. But always know that wherever your clients are, there's someone who wants to capture them as a customer. There's a finite number of people in the United States that are qualified to buy or sell. It's not an unlimited number, all right? So what you have to protect. You have to look at each individual person and say, okay, I want this person who lives in a $2 million house to see what $2 million homes look like in this particular city. This is how long they're on the market. This is what the inside looks like, because that's their path. Don't lump everybody together. Individualize it. When you send out an email, make it feel individual. This is that nurturing phase. You don't just blanket everybody, because not everybody's in a particular boat. When you send out an email, the best type of email to send out, honestly, is, how are you? How have you been? How's life? How's work? How's the family? Would love to hear from you. That's the best type of email, because one is, it's going to do a couple of things from you. If you send that out, everybody feels obligated to reply to that because it's genuine. And if people don't reply, then they're not really interested in your emails, right? So you want to see real quick how big your database really is. Send out something that is actually engaging. Be like, hey, how are you? Send them a text message if you have their cell phone. If you start, you start collecting people's cell phone numbers. less and less people have home phones. Get their cell phone. Send them a text message. Not everybody likes to talk on the phone. I mean, I personally don't. And when people call me, I'm already weirded out. Even when my friends call me, it trips me out. I have a friend, he doesn't really like to text much. He's like 33 years old, and he just calls. He just likes to talk on the phone, right? And so it's even strange for that, like somebody that I actually know, right? But you can send a text like, hey man, how you been? Just wanted to say hi, and it's memorable. And all you want to do is everything that you do in marketing is just to be memorable. It's, what we do as a company is like, hey, we send out marketing stuff. It's like when somebody does have an issue, maybe with their website provider that they have now, some broker provided stuff, and they go, oh man, I kind of am sick of this website. I need a new one. And what we're banking on is them saying, well, I got something from PropertyMinder. What's that? I'm going to go take a look at that. And they go to the company website and they go, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. They request for a test drive. They want to see it, all right, a live demo. They just want to be an option. And that's all that you can control, is being an option. Like, I want to be an option. This person at some point is going to say, like, I wonder what our home is worth. Or I've been thinking about selling. And you go, oh, okay. Well, I've been getting information from them. They go, oh yeah, this person. You just want to eliminate all the options because there's a bunch of realtors in the area, right? You're not the only one in town. It's very easy to find a realtor. Extremely easy. There's real estate offices all over the place, right? But it's, where are you on that list? Are you first or are you last? Make yourself first. And the whole premise is, what can I do for this person to bring them to my site on a fairly consistent basis, to track their activity, to make sure that they are well informed, whether they're buying a house or whether they're thinking about selling in a year or two. And then in between that, some personal exchanges. Holiday messages, yeah, okay. They're not, at this point, people know that it's automated, right? It's not doing you any favors. It's an automated email, right? Nobody goes, oh, wow, it's so awesome that they remembered to send me a Christmas email, right? That's not, but it's, if you send out hi, Todd, how are you? It's been a while. I just wanted to touch base and say hi and see how things were going. How's everything in your life? I hope you're doing well, and I look forward to talking to you soon. If I got that email from someone, I would be very, very inclined to want to reply, because I don't want to be rude, right? So now you can engage, right? Now you can spend a day per week. Just send that out. Do that today. It's Monday. Go to your CRM and create a new message and just apply it to everybody and just say, how the heck are you? Hope everything's going well. I know it's tax season. Best of luck to you. If you ever have any questions, I'm always here. Hope life is going well. Talk to you soon. Send something out and see if you get some replies. Some replies from people that you haven't spoke to in quite a while, and engage with them and make yourself memorable. Stand out in their mind for the next week. Like, oh, my realtor actually just sat down and messaged me. Like, you'd be surprised what that's going to do for you. And it doesn't take very long, right? But begin to connect with your customers on a personal level, and then find out where they are, right? Hey, where are you going to get your home values? Like, I have this really great tool. It's called Seller's Corner, but it's like going to set you neighborhood alerts. Remind me what your address is. And then you can look up their address or anywhere and get like the square footage, bedroom, bathroom, set it up. Done. Set it up. And now that person is like going to receive updates. That's awesome. You now connect with that person. You've reduced the likelihood of them listing with someone else just by that. That is the best thing that you could do for your business. That's why these tools exist. So if you need customer support, if you need some training, call in, right? Let's call in. Call into this number right here. Go to PropertyMinder.com, call that number, extension 2. Or you can come down here. Go here. Go to customer support. Here's their email, right? Contact them. Send them a message, all right? I want to schedule some training. They're going to get that and put you into training. But this stuff's very important, right? Don't let the year slip away. Don't let another year slip away without your customers hearing from you on a very constant basis with some actual valuable information. That's the most important thing that you can do. Do yourself that favor. Set up some homeowners on Seller's Corner. 10, 20, whatever it may be. People that you're like, hey, they've lived in this house for 5 years. They could, in theory, sell their home soon, right? Property values have increased over the last 7 years. It's pretty amazing, right? And so at some point they may want to sell. They're going to cash in, right? And make yourself an option. Don't assume that you're an option. Make yourself an option. That's my advice to you today. So everyone, thank you for your time. Please email me your questions. I see that there's a couple here. My email is tawd@propertyminder.com. That's Todd@propertyminder.com. So it's this at propertyminder.com. Send me your emails. I'm going to load up this webinar, and it'll be available to you. But I want to make sure that all your questions are addressed in a proper way. I don't want to rush through them right now. Anyways, but thank you for your time. Best of luck today. Have a great one. We will talk soon, and cheers to you. Bye-bye.